A very warm welcome to you at home. I am Musam Khalipi and this is AfroShowBiz News, the show that continues to bring you all things art and entertainment from around the African continent. Now today, South Africa is celebrating Women's Day, so happy Women's Day to you all. To keep in touch, feel free to email us at afroshow.biz@sabc.co.za. Also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @AfroShowBizNews. Let's get right to it with today's headlines. Nigerian musical maestro King Robert Ebezimo and his driver dies in a car accident in the Delta State. The city of Tshwane is preparing for the One Tribe Festival. South Africa's Tony Goroge and Mauritania's Ibrahim Ahmed shared the best prize actor at this year's Durban International Film Festival. Goroge's role was in Cold Harbour, with Ahmed starring critically acclaimed Timbuktu.
In 2010, Goroge made Variety's list of South African talent poised to break out after his performance as Nelson Mandela's bodyguard in Clint Eastwood's Invictus. International audiences are familiar with Goroge for his co-starring in The First Grader, Skin, and Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom.
You can help me. If you keep me informed, your investigation will go more quickly.
Kerry McKenzie's Cold Harbour marks his first lead role in a South African feature film and his transition to an action hero. In Cold Harbour, Goroge plays a Khayelitsha policeman, Sizwe Mia, a role that was specifically written for him, who uncovers an abalone smuggling scheme while investigating a triad murder.
If I'm honest, in the silence of the night, I feel you betrayed. You changed sides.
The Best Actor award is shared between an actor who is established and commanding and a newcomer who is unforgettable. Both give soulful and compelling performances and are enviable collaborators with the filmmakers they work with.
Everyone's got a past, including you.
Today we celebrate Women's Day, and with us in studio is Johannesburg-based designer, social entrepreneur, sales guru and mother of 5, Ariana Edwards, who fuses clothing, coaching and culture in a single package. She imparts much-needed creative and business skills. She and her team are promoting the manufacturing and consumption of proudly local women's wear. Now to talk to us a bit more about what she does is Rihanna herself. Hello and welcome to AfroShowBiz News.
Thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, Rihanna, you train unemployed women. Why do you think that this is an important factor in the country?
Well, first of all, there's a huge unemployment rate in this country. We need to look at different ways on how to solve this problem. And through the creative industries that we operate in, it's actually saying to the woman, come with your God-given talents and come and let's build sustainable businesses together. And this is one way that we're going to build Africa. And it's up to us as entrepreneurs to be able to pay it forward and impart of our skill and our knowledge.
All right, now Rihanna, how do you hope that this will boost South Africa's manufacturing industry?
Well, as you know, the big giants such as China and the rest of the Eastern nations have basically taken over in terms of imports. I come from a very strong manufacturing background where we had the old Rex reform from the Western Cape region, and there is no such industry any longer. So all these little groups that we are forming and trying to revive this industry will ensure that we can build a vibrant economy around this industry.
All right, now Rihanna, tell us a bit about what type of clothing that you specifically manufacture.
I'd like to say that I cater to modern, modest women. As you know, being a Muslim, there are certain rules that we need to follow in terms of our dress. You know, no legs that are being revealed, neither arms, and also no cleavage that's being shown. So I cater for this in most of my clothing. But I also realize that it doesn't just appeal to Muslim women. We have a very huge African community that loves what I do, as well as other communities too, because the clothing, it's feminine, it has a flow, and at the same time, we're proud of our cultural identity.
All right. Now, where are you currently based? Where do you operate from?
I'm in Roosevelt Park in the Johannesburg area, and we've just launched our first standalone store in the Northcliffe Shopping Centre.
Tell us a bit about that.
The store itself, it's really a labour of love. It's a tiny little space, but with it being Women's Day today, I can clearly say to you it's Women's Day every single day in our store, because it's not just about the clothing, it's also about women coming to share their stories. You know, we are emotional, so as a life coach, I'm able to look at that as well. And we put everything together. So by the time the lady walks out of our store, she feels relief. She was able to share, and she feels feminine because our clothing speaks to her in that way.
All right. Now, you're also involved in the Sorry for Change incubation project. Tell us a bit about what that is exactly.
Sorry for Change is really an inaugural project of an NPO called Meaningful Change. And what we do at Sorry for Change is we look at designers just leaving or just graduating, but they don't really have the experience and they have difficulty in finding jobs. We look at unemployed seamstresses who's possibly sat behind a machine for many years and churned out traditional wear. And the biggest challenge is looking at new markets. So what I've done at Sorry for Change is we've actually put everybody into this incubation, imparted skills as well as entrepreneurial knowledge. So after a specific time, between 6 to 9 months, we expect we call them incubatees, that's part of the incubation, to be able to launch their own label and start their own business.
I'm afraid that is where we'll have to wrap it up, but thank you so much for joining us, Rihanna.
Pleasure.
All right. Northam in Limpopo underwent a transformation with the kickoff of the annual Opikopi Music Festival. The annual festival again showcased top brands from South Africa and abroad. The festival hosts a wide array of acts, with artists being backed, with artists from genres including, but not limited to, rock, hip-hop, hardcore, punk, and more. Now, this year promised a star-studded lineup, including rappers Double HP, Reason, Black Les, Toya Delezi, Jack Perro, music group The Muffins, as well as music legend Hugh Masekela. Overall, 143 artists are expected to perform at the event. Every year, the Opikopi team delivers an original theme to underpin the festival, and this year is no different. The festival was held for the first time in 1994, with 27 local talents performing to a small crowd of enthusiasts. It has since grown to be one of South Africa's most popular music festivals, attracting over 5,000 to 15,000 people each year. The conflict in the Middle Eastern region of Gaza was at the center of a music performance at the Carthage International Festival in Tunisia. Lebanese musician Marcel Khalif dedicated his performance to the children of Gaza. Carthage is the oldest music festival in Tunisia and is in its 50th year. Marcel Khalif, a composer, singer and alt player, walks onto the stage to some enthusiastic applause. This is at the Carthage International Festival, Tunisia's oldest and biggest music festival. This year, the festival is celebrating its 50th anniversary. The concert featuring Khalif was divided into 2 parts. In the first, he performed alongside countryman Lebanese singer Omaima Al-Khalil and Tunisia's National Orchestra, presenting songs inspired by the work of the late Palestinian poet Mahmoud Darwish. In the second half of the evening, Khalif performed some of his other famous numbers as the crowd sang along.
Tonight's performance is a greeting to Tunisia, a greeting to the youth that shouted in the streets and asked for freedom, a greeting to the echo of their voices. It is also a greeting to the martyrs, Tunisia's martyrs, and a greeting to the children of Gaza who are dying every day because of this vicious war led by Israel.
Khalif's music is known for its focus on freedom and nationalism, and some of his songs became anthems to the revolutions in the Arab world over the past 2 years. Throughout his career, Khalif has received many honors and awards, including the Palestinian Award for Music in 1999 and more recently, the UNESCO Artist for Peace Awards in 2005. Tunisia's Minister of Culture, Mourad Sakli, said Khalif's popularity could be attributed to the way he connected with the public.
Gaza is going through hard times, and for sure, with Marcel Khalif, there must be a crossover. Today, there was a coming together between Marcel Khalif, the Palestinian cause, and the public, not forgetting the Tunisian martyrs.
Masal Khalif's lyrical and instrumental recordings add up to more than 20 albums and DVDs. Since 1974, Khalif has been composing music for dance, which gave rise to a new genre of dance. Congolese photographer Keripi Katembo captures everyday life in the Democratic Republic of Congo's capital in Kinshasa. He gives us a glimpse of life in Kinshasa through reflections in street puddles.
In a photography series called En Regard, or Look in English, Katembo puts a twist on capturing daily life in Kinshasa by taking pictures of reflections in the puddles that litter the capital streets. He is documenting some of the city's sewerage systems that are polluted by waste and dirty water. Katembo says through his pictures, he wants to capture the complexities of urban life.
My inspiration comes from the exchange that I have with the world, meaning my friends, the women who sell fish or bread. In short, all that surrounds me. It's that daily life that inspires me to take pictures of certain situations or objects.
For Katembo, it's not just about taking a picture, but about capturing the ordinary in a unique and poetic manner. Along with his friends, he created a collective called Yeleba, where young aspiring filmmakers and photographers could perfect their skills. Katembo also explores other genres and is an accomplished painter and filmmaker. Christophe Rousset is the director of the French Institute in Kinshasa.
He is part of a generation of young people who don't have any self-esteem issues and who devote all their energy into different art forms, whether it's artistic projects or photography or film. He also works in film production and is currently putting together a visual biennale.
Katembo hopes growing interest in photography will help expose the beauty of the art form and make society appreciate those involved in the genre. He will present his latest series of photographs at an exhibition that will be held in Kinshasa later this year.
Let's go for a quick ad break. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back. South Africa seems to be hosting a huge number of festivals that have big names and international performers at the moment. The One Dinokeng Festival is the latest to reveal its September lineup. The festival takes place in the city of Tshwane and will be headlined by America's Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, J. Cole, and Kid Ink.
The Tribe One Dinokeng Festival will be the first of its kind not just for South Africa, but also for Africa. The CEO of festival says this is a historic moment for the African continent and for the world, as this is the first mega multi-day music festival to be hosted in Africa. The aim of the festival is to awaken the cradle of music, where music tribes from all over the planet will come together every year as one tribe in Pretoria. It is set to attract the best of contemporary music talent from across South Africa, the African continent, and other prominent names from around the world. The lineup of the event features over 150 artists performing on 3 main stages. Liquid Dip, Questa, Dara J, and others amongst several musicians also scheduled to perform at the festival. It will host more than 80 DJs playing live sets in the multiple domes called the Dance Village. There will also be more than 50 official stage basking points per day for emerging and unsigned talent. The primary focus will be on hip-hop, R&B, pop, rock, adult contemporary and other genres. Dinokeng Festival was launched by R4000 in partnership with Sony Music Entertainment Africa and the city of Tshwane. The festival will take place in Pretoria in late September.
A bit of sad news from Nigeria now. Musical maestro King Robert Abizimo and his driver have died in a car accident in the West African country's Delta State.
Yes. The car that the musician was in rammed into a trailer parked by the roadside, and they died before they could be rushed to hospital for medical attention. King Abizimo used his music to hugely promote Ijao struggle and to create awareness all over the Ijao nation, especially those at the hinterland. The Nigerian governor Dixon, who appointed the late music maestro as his special advisor on culture and the Ijao national affairs, noted with satisfaction the role of the King Abizimo has played in promoting and propagating the cultural and traditional values of the Ijao people. His highly instructive and inspirational lyrics would be greatly missed by all true Ijao men and women. The governor has also announced that the King Robert is to be given a state burial.
This year, the Comic Choice Awards was celebrating its fourth year themed The Point of Funny. The main event was held at the Teatro, in Monte Cassino. Legendary comedian Mark Banks was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award. He joins us in studio today, and Mark Banks, welcome.
Thank you very much.
AfroShowBiz News.
Yes.
First and foremost, congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
And tell us how you feel about this achievement.
Thank you. I nearly brought the award today, but because it was Women's Day, the award is at the jewellers. I went to the jewellers to get it because they're keeping it in the safe, and it was closed. So because of Women's Day, I can't have my award with me to show the viewers. I'm very, very sorry.
Well, I'm sorry to the viewers that we can't see your award, but
beautiful white gold. It's about that big. I'm actually having it made bigger and a few more jewels put on it.
Is that even possible?
Yeah. It is.
All right. Can you please take us to your journey as a comedian? How has it been for you?
I started about 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I shouldn't still be alive, actually. But I'm only 55, so I thought I was a bit young to win the Lifetime Achievement Award, but I started fairly young. I think comedy in Africa then, comedy in South Africa certainly was primarily a white issue. White people went to see white people performing. Now, everybody's doing comedy. Everybody from everywhere. We even have, I see, a Sutu comedy festival coming up. 100% Sutu. Everybody's doing it. Everybody wants to laugh. There's no one who doesn't want to laugh, I don't think.
Now, did you ever think that you'd be such a successful comedian when you started out?
No, I gave myself 4 years. I thought 4 years, that's it. And I thought maybe at max 10. And as each year comes, new challenges, new news, new dispensations, new governments, new people in power, new people to shoot at, new people to... Because comedy is a weapon of mass destruction. If a politician goes onto a stage and the entire audience just scream with laughter, and he can't speak for people laughing, it's quite an intense weapon to have.
Well, you're still here today, so what kept you going?
I think my humility, I think my kindness, I think my ability to work with other people, no, I'm talking rubbish. I think... No, I don't like other comedians. They terrify me. I'm terrified of comedians. Don't they terrify you?
No, why is that?
Because I never know what they're thinking. And worse than not knowing what somebody's thinking is knowing what someone's thinking, and that's usually worse than not knowing.
So what are you thinking
what they're thinking? What am I thinking right now? I'm wondering if Woolworths is open today, and if it is, what time it closes on a public holiday. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Well, is there a specific message that you tackle in your comedy shows?
I listen to people in lifts, on buses, on airplanes, at airports, in supermarkets, and listen to what other people are talking about and what the issues are. I take it from what people say to each other.
Now, what have been some of the challenges that you've faced as a comedian?
Probably staying current, updating material all the time, because in South Africa we have so much news every day, as you know. You could write a news show more or less every day. We have comedians who do a comedy show on television every week on the news that's happened that week. Who's in, who's out, who's doing what to who. And not just politics, the crime, the way we live, the economy, the way the world is changing, the way everything is instant now with iPods and MP3 players and instant news. Kids, young people, because comedy's for very young people now. Up until about 10 years ago, it used to be for people 35 years plus. Now, kids in the school playground have got an MP3 player, they've got an iPod, they can see the American news, they can see what happened that morning. So the comedy has to be current, it has to be that night.
Of course, of course. Now, Mark, you've been in the industry for a while. Now, besides this Lifetime Achievement Award, what have been maybe some of the highlights of your career?
Probably the biggest highlight was when about 8 of us went to the Royal Albert Hall in London, and we did a show called Bafani Bafani to about 8,000.
That was a huge show, actually.
Huge show.
Yeah, that was a huge show.
I couldn't believe it was happening when it was happening. And it was like a soccer derby. The Royal Albert Hall was just full of South Africans from everywhere. Black, white, green, blue, orange, red, Muslim, Jew, Sotho, Venda, Snake, just everyone was packed, packed into the Albert Hall, and we had a very mixed bag of comedians, and we had a fantastic night. I was very sorry it ended, because when it ended, sometimes you do something, you think, how am I going to do bigger than this? Because I can't win another Lifetime Achievement Award, so I'm probably going to have to change my name. And seeing it's Women's Day, I could come back as... You could? I could.
Well, Mark, I'm afraid we're going to have to wrap it up there.
Constitutionally, they couldn't stop me. They couldn't stop me coming back as a woman. I could do it.
All right, well, thank you for coming. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much. Musa.
Yes, Musa.
Musa. And if you married Riyadh Musa, you'd be... Musa.
Yes, of course.
Amazing. Hey?
All right.
Imagine that happening.
Now let's go to Cape Town here in South Africa. Now the Celluloid Film Festival is happening. The focus there is the sci-fi and fantasy. It's in the Libya Theatre until tomorrow, August 10.
The majority of the movies and almost all of the short films make their South African premieres at Celluloid, which features a pre-release screening of Young Ones, a film directed by Jake Paltrow is shot in South Africa. There'll be key crew attending the screen who will chat with the audience afterwards about the making of the film. The festival's Phase 6 will encompass an array of feature films, short films and a documentary, touching everything from sci-fi to fantasy. The Celluloid short film covers 6 hours worth of original shorts from across the globe, including South Africa. The films to be expected are Plan 9 from Outer Space, directed by Ed Wood, Young Ones by Jack Paltrow, the documentary of Bill Muir's story, The Big Man Japan and Zenith, among others.
A book we think you must read this week is titled So Long a Letter. It's an award-winning oldie authored by Senegalese Mariama Ba. It looks at themes of the condition of women in West African societies. With this work of fiction, Ba explores the inequalities between men and women in Senegal, Islam and African society. She creates a fictional letter from Rama Loyaye, a school teacher in Senegal, to her good friend Aissotau, who now lives in America. Rama Loyaye, a recent widow, has lost her husband and is customary mourning for 10 months. So Long a Letter was originally written in French and later translated in English. You are still watching AfroShowBiz News. If you've missed any of our shows, be sure to catch us on our YouTube channel by simply searching for AfroShowBiz News. Time now for another break, but do stay tuned for more. Welcome back. As it is Women's Day in South Africa, director Meg Rickard plans to create awareness around women and child abuse for this Women's Month. This is the subject she highlights in her upcoming film, Whiplash.
London.
I've just arrived from there myself.
What were you doing there?
I'm a doctor.
Her film is based on the novel by Cape Town author Tracy Farren. It tells the story of a prostitute who suffers a lifetime of abuse, first as a child who is abused by a family member, and later as a young woman raped and made pregnant. According to records, the film challenges the ever-present culture of abuse and violence in South Africa. She said in a statement that she feels compelled to act against one of the most devastating plagues in our society, using the story and the camera.
In this country, we don't stand for women monkeying around with natives.
Land of Thirst is one of the films that she once directed. She hopes Whiplash will make a contribution to changing hearts and minds through the power of narrative and to challenge the culture of impunity around rape. Rickards walked 26 kilometers from the Cape Town City Hall to Muizenberg prior to Women's Day, adorning only a petticoat and painted on bruises representing a physical assault. She was joined by the former Deputy Minister of Health, Nozizwe Madlala Rutledge, the members of NGOs and project supporters in an initiative to raise awareness about the film. They also hope to attract financial support via the local crowdfunding platform, Tunda Fund. The film Whiplash has received support from the National Film and Video Foundation and the Department of Trade and Industry. An additional 1 million rand is needed before the production can commence. The team of the project is appealing to the public for donations ranging from 100 rands, and everyone who backs the project will get a gift in return.
In Ethiopia, the state of Tigray hosted the International Tigray Diaspora Festival.
The 6-day-long festival began on the 31st of July and concluded on Wednesday at Mekelle University. The festival featured various conferences and tours of development works. Over 3,000 Tigray-born people living in the diaspora participated in the festival. They joined the other participants in social, political activities, dance and music. Mofa State Minister and Ambassador Behane Christos said in a statement that the activities of the diaspora of Tigray regional state could be exemplary to other Ethiopians living abroad. The ambassador added that he hoped the role of the diaspora will be to continue assisting in completing various projects undertaken by the government. In their concluding statements, some of the participants indicated that the festival had realized its mission and vowed to conduct it every 4 years in a different country. This was the first international diaspora festival to be hosted in Tigray. Sikil in the United States was chosen to be the next host city for this popular festival.
We have now come to the end of our show, but be sure to catch our repeats every Sunday at 2 a.m. and again at 1:30 p.m. A happy Women's Day to you all, and from me and the rest of the AfroShowBiz news team, it's thank you and goodbye.
And if she comes off, then everyone wins. So win-win.
And the oil, you're not concerned about that? What's happening with the leak at the moment? They're trying to stop it.
Yeah, we're putting patches on the port side. They should finish that hopefully by the end of the day. So we're not too concerned about that. Most of the oil out of that tank has already escaped. The starboard side, there's no leaks at this point in time, and we hope it stays like that.
What else is on board? You know, if the manifest from there are some toxic chemicals on board. What does this include?
Yeah, there were a lot of hazardous cargo, but they were all stowed on the main deck. So we're quite confident that during the initial fire and the explosions, the hazardous cargo has been removed from our problem. The cotton is still burning. That's the big problem down below. Cotton, and with the weather that she went through, all the cargo has been mixed up. The container's very badly damaged, so to fight that fire, you'd have to cut your way in and take out the cotton piece by piece and any other cargo that's there.
How dangerous is it for the salvages on board?
It's always dangerous. First of all, from the fire, there's lots of different chemicals that have seeped. I would say at the moment it's dangerous, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. I just want to ask the other
they're free to do whatever they want. No. I mean, you see, the point is this. I mean, there has to be some official recognition of a foreign observer, whatever you call it, and there has to be some kind of a relationship between them and ourselves in terms of